Technical Writing 227. My name is Cornelia. I'm your instructor for this online class, and I do have an office on campus. So if you are on campus, or if you ever want to call, please feel free to make personal contact with me. It's North Santiam Hall 212 or phone number 541-917-4556, and I love to talk to online students on the phone or in my office. And one of the things that I often talk to my online students in Writing 227 about is selecting their paper topic for that big research paper that's due at the end of the term. So I wanted to share just a couple ideas with you now what I want you to look for as you're choosing that topic. This first week, I'm asking you to propose a couple potential topics, get you started thinking about this project, and here are a couple things to think about. First of all, because this is technical writing is writing that people use to solve problems. So if you have a novel, you read that for fun, for entertainment. If you have a history textbook, you read it to be educated because you're interested or for fun. But technical writing is the writing you read because you need to complete a task or answer a question right now in this world. So something like an FDA report on whether or not a particular drug was effective, that would be technical writing. Or the manual you use to put your computer together, that would be technical writing. In a technical research paper, first of all, it has to focus on a contemporary problem. So if you were to say, I'd like to write my research paper on the causes of the Civil War, I would say, well, that's a really interesting topic, but that does not really address a current problem. So you want to look for some topic that is answering a question that is currently at issue. Be careful not to ask questions that have already been answered. So if you said, I want to write my research paper on whether or not smoking has negative health consequences, I would say, well, we already know that smoking has negative health consequences. That question has been answered. So think about your research paper as a paper which attempts to answer a question that has not yet been answered. And I do not expect you in 10 weeks to answer a question that has puzzled the entire medical, scientific, technological community. I'm only looking for you to contribute your voice to the conversation. So don't worry if you don't have an absolute concrete answer at the end of the project. Sometimes the answer is, we need to do more research, and this is the kind of research we need to do. Sometimes the answer is, this is not something that we can determine right now for the following 4 reasons. Don't feel like this is an argument paper where you have to come down on one side, and don't feel like you have to have the final word. What you'll end up with at the end are conclusions and recommendations. So you're going to say, here's what we know, here are the questions that we are still wrestling with, here's where we should go next. So first of all, look for a question that has not been answered yet, something of practical concern that is something that people need to figure out to get stuff done in the world right now. So it's got to be physical, measurable, tangible, a medical issue, a technological issue, urban planning issue. Steer clear of those things which are not measurable. Technical writing is all about measurement. So what is the true meaning of happiness? That may be a great question for your philosophy class, but not here. So look for something practical that's at issue right now. And this is really important. This is just as important as that other stuff I just said. Look for something that you are genuinely interested in, because you're going to spend a lot of time on this project. And if you're thinking right now, oh man, I can't think of a research topic that I'm genuinely interested in, call me. use my phone number. Call me, 541-917-4556. It's just like an infomercial on TV at night. Call me on the line, and we will talk about what you might write your paper on. Because usually with a little back and forth conversation, we can find something that you're really interested in that fits the assignment. So look for that. Now, just a couple other little tips before you launch into this project. Technical writing is very impartial. It's very unbiased. The writing is not emotional, and the information is always based in research, statistics, numbers, measurements. So it's generally best not to choose a topic that is so close to your heart that you cannot look at the other side. So I want you to be interested in this topic, but if it is so close to your heart that you just can't see the other side or don't want to look at the other side, don't pick that one. And then the last thing I'm going to say, and this is purely personal, I recommend that you do not choose obesity or alternative energy for your topics. And I'm not saying you can't. I'm not saying it's forbidden. It's not off limits or anything like that. I won't grade you down if you pick these topics. But oddly enough, they seem to be the most popular topics in my technical writing class, which means that I have read hundreds, if not thousands, of papers on alternative fuel and obesity. I would never deliberately grade you down because I had read another paper on the topic. Absolutely not. But in some ways, it behooves you to choose a topic that I have not read 400 papers on already, because I pretty much know the resources that are out there on those two topics. And I have seen students handle those topics so well, so brilliantly, that on some subconscious back of the brain level, yeah, I am judging your paper against those papers. I know what great looks like in those two topics. So I recommend you branch out from the familiar. If you're trying to decide between two topics and one you think, well, yeah, that sounds like a college paper. Like, yeah, I bet everybody writes on that. And one is like, ooh, that's weird. I wonder, I don't know, I've never heard of anyone writing about that in college. You might want to go for the weird one. Run it by me, there are some topics that don't work for technical writing, and if you're not sure if yours is one of them, ask. And I'll tell you. But also keep your eyes open for something interesting. Here's a topic I got a few years ago that I thought was fascinating. The question was, can parasites control the human brain? The answer was probably more than you think, and was very well researched. Another woman looked at the practice of modern mummification. Yes, you, for $60,000, can be mummified just like in ancient Egypt. And so she posed the question, is mummification a more environmentally friendly form of burial than traditional embalming? Fascinating, weird, never seen that paper before or since. So keep your eyes open for something like that. And most importantly, if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask. It's great to have you in the class. I hope you have a wonderful term, and I'm here for you if you need me.